All of the divisions have been looked at. All we got to do now is make playoff predictions. Brett and Albert is here. I am Adrian Fedke. The 2018 NFL season is right here. It's here.
It is, man. I mean, talk about the wait from a long, cold winter is finally over. The warmth of the NFL is ready to grace us all again.
Yeah, and, I'm in a precarious spot. Since the Eagles won the Super Bowl, this offseason has actually flown for me.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's more storylines, right? I mean, obviously everything you got from, the parade, White House visit, offseason draft, like there's so many more layers to that it makes the offseason just go quicker versus, say, a team who goes 8-8, all of a sudden the offseason seems a lot longer for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, your Ravens won Super Bowl a couple times, so you know what I'm feeling.
I do. I also know the feeling of then overpaying your quarterback and then knowing you're in purgatory for the next several years. So, yes, I do understand that, Adrian, but that felt like many, many years ago.
Oh, man, that was 2012 already. That was 2012 already. Oh, my. All right, so here's what we did. I've got all of our picks up right here. So you got Brennan's picks on the left, my picks on the right. I'll tell you what, I hate my picks already because I've got basically the same playoffs as last year for the NFC. The only difference is I got Green Bay as a 5 seed, Atlanta and now moves to a 6.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much have almost the exact same situation that we saw last year. The only big difference is I have the Panthers out and I put the Pack in. But, I mean, honestly, that's an Aaron Rodgers type of situation here. I mean, honestly, even if Brady goes down, I still feel pretty confident the Patriots could win the division even without Brady. But if Rodgers goes down, there's no way that we see the Packers be even close to this. But with Rodgers back, he wins you 4 or 5 games on his own.
Yep. So we're just going to quickly go through our playoffs here. See if I can go back. I don't know if it's going to screw it. Yeah, it did screw it up. Shit. Oh, well. All right. We'll just go to a new page here. So now we're going to make playoff picks, and it's sticking with 2 columns. All right. We'll sorry about this. All right, you know what? Your first game in the NFC, you got Minnesota playing New Orleans. Who you got winning that game?
I would take Minnesota. I think they're a more rounded team. The only thing that concerns me at Minnesota is that offensive line is really not good. It's really not. I mean, I could easily see Kirk Cousins being a guy who is on the IR by week 14, 15, 16, just because that offensive line is not a very good one, and he's not exactly a mobile guy back there. He's enough to get the job done, but in this matchup here, I don't love the front 7 there for the Saints enough to say that, hey, you could stop him. I would take the Vikings ahead of him here, but I don't love the Vikings in general a lot, Adrian, because I'm worried about Dalvin Cook. I'm worried about the offensive line. I don't think either of those things are durable long-term, but when we're picking right now, we're picking right here at the start of the year where everyone is healthy and perfect except for the Chargers, and I think that the Vikings would be a better team than the Saints.
I've got New Orleans and Atlanta in my wild card as the 3-6, and I got New Orleans in this game. I'm really curious to see how the South plays out because you got Atlanta. I've got New Orleans winning the South. Atlanta, to me, I think has more on the roster, but the coaching staff, I'm not a Sarkisian guy at all. He kills the red zone, and they're just not scoring as many points as they should.
I can buy that. I mean, I can certainly understand where you're coming from there. I have a hard time disagreeing with you. The only thing I'll say is, man, that roster is awesome. I mean, that roster for the Falcons offense is really freaking good. And I have a hard time thinking Vic Beasley's not going to take another step to becoming a double-digit sack guy consistently. I like tackle out there too. The defensive backs, we talked to Najee about, Adrian, how we both like the Falcons DBs a lot. I like the Falcons here a lot to win the division.
Their defense is extremely underrated, I think. So there's
fast.
Yeah.
Freaking fast is the defense. That's the best thing for them.
Yep. All right, so you've got Atlanta and Green Bay in your other wild card game. This is a hell of a matchup and a rematch of the NFC Championship game from 2 years ago.
Yeah, these matchups played a couple times here, and it's going to be an offensive firework. Give me the Falcons. I think the Falcons is a better team, so I'm going to pick the better team, even though the best player leaps and bounds is Aaron Rodgers. So I will take the Falcons in this situation, but I think that could be a real coin flip.
Yeah, I've got the Rams and the Packers in my scenario. I've got Green Bay over the Rams. So this is one where we really differ here. Is on the Rams. You like them a lot better than I do. I'm a little bit worried about all those personalities meshing together. If they do get all of that figured out, I think they're like a year away from that. And for this season, I think there could be a drop-off. But at the same time, the division is so weak. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I can grasp the Rams right now.
Here's the reason I grasp the Rams, Adrian. 2 wins against the Cardinals, 2 wins, I think, against the Seahawks, and at least 1 win against the Niners. 5-1 in the division.
Yeah.
There alone, it makes it much easier. Even if you kind of just struggle the rest of the way and go 500, I think you're gifted minimum of 4 wins, maybe even 5 wins for the Rams. That's why I have the Rams in the 2 seed, because they have that benefit of being in a weaker division than, say, the NFC South or the NFC North.
Oh, if all that talent meshes together, they're going to get the 1 seed. It won't be the 2, I think.
I still take the Eagles over them, even if they do mesh. I still think the Eagles are a better team, but I think we're singing the same song here, where there's a ton of upside in the division, not a lot of contenders there. I'm just not a big believer in the 49ers just yet.
Yeah, same here. Same here. We both don't have them in the playoffs. All right, let's move on to the AFC wildcard. You've got Pittsburgh and Tennessee here in a matchup. You going to take the Steelers?
I'm not. I'm going to take Tennessee.
See? I assumed, and I made an ass of myself.
And you know what, Adrian? Everything in basic logic would say you're right. They have a veteran head coach. They have the better running back. They have the better receiving core. They have everything you're saying there makes total sense. I don't know why I'm saying this, and it's just a complete gut feeling, and I'm probably going to be proven wrong, and I'll own it if and when I am. I think the Steelers, man, are going to do really well in the regular season and be a quick out in the playoffs, and we could be seeing a new head coach there in Pittsburgh.
Kind of like last year, huh? Same kind of deal. So it's like you can get by during the regular season in the AFC with your defense because the conference sucks, but then you get to the playoffs and the competition's a little bit better and you lose. And that's what we saw last year with Jacksonville. You put up over 40, but you gave up 45.
And I'm picking pretty much the upside in Tennessee, because for a lot of intents purposes, I'm picking blind against his coaching staff. I mean, we haven't seen anything of what Tennessee's offense and defense consistently is going to be during the regular season yet. So this could be a team who maybe doesn't even make the playoffs. But, man, I really like this roster. I think Marcus Mariota is going to take a step forward this year. I think they have a nice combo there in the backfield. Delaney Walker is super underrated. Enough weapons outside. Very good offensive line. I think Tennessee would win this matchup in the late season. Probably not now. I think the team's going to grow and become better as this year go on.
Okay. I agree with that because you got a new coaching staff, all that together. So it's going to take some time. Chargers I've got over Kansas City. The Chargers are the team that I like in the AFC. But, my God, the injuries have already struck. And we'll see about this team because you were telling me they're cursed.
They are the best all IR team every single year. If you could play Madden and turn off the injuries, the Chargers would be one of the best teams in the NFL. But they can't seem to even get into the regular season without having multiple starters hurt. The injury bug, man, I tell you, it lives in the Los Angeles Chargers locker room. It just is always there, ready to bite someone. I just love their roster. So again, we're picking what we think is going to happen based on what we know today, because we're not going to project injuries. It's just too hard for us to do. So I like the Chargers here a lot to move even further into the playoffs.
All right, because you've got the same matchup as I do, Chargers against Kansas City. And then my other matchup is we've got Pittsburgh and Houston. I'm taking Pittsburgh, but I'm not feeling great about it. I don't like the Steelers this year. They're going to win their games because that's what they do. But come playoffs, I agree with you. I do. There's something up there. I mean, even with the Le'Veon Bell situation, I just don't like the way this thing is going right now.
If Houston had a better offensive line here, Adrian, would you have picked the Texans over the Steelers?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like Pittsburgh this year.
And to be honest with you, the offensive line is the biggest reason I took Tennessee to get into the wild card over Houston.
Okay. That's right. And this is good. All right, so now we're on the divisional round, and we've already taken a lot more time than I thought we would. It always works out that way. All right, so in your divisional round, you've got the Eagles playing who we got? You've got picked Atlanta. So Philly and Atlanta?
Give me the Eagles. I mean, look, the team got better. Simply put, they won a Super Bowl and they got better. So
Yep.
how can I pick against the Eagles, honestly?
Yep. All right, and then for me, I've got Philly playing Green Bay. Oh, my God. Oh, I don't want to play Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is an Eagles killer. If this is a matchup they have to play, I don't like their chances, but they're still going to win.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, man, I don't care who the other 10 guys on the field, he's still going to scare you. Like, the other 10 guys just all of a sudden scare you because of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. This is a scary matchup for the Birds if they have to face them. Quick passing game is kind of like with their little weakness, and Green Bay. I just thought their defense isn't good enough. I think the Eagles can outscore them. Your next game is the Rams and Minnesota.
This was a tough one for me. This was a really, really tough one for me. I went back to what do I look across the board? Quarterback, I don't think there's as big of a difference as a lot of people are going to give between Cousins and Goff, mostly because of Goff's in an awesome offensive system.
I agree with you.
I think the weapons around Goff are probably deeper than the weapons around the Vikings.
Yeah.
So I like that. The offensive line is significantly better there in Los Angeles. Front seven, back half is better in Minnesota. I hear all that. I just don't want to pick the same team twice. So I don't want to see the Vikings do it again. I'll take the Rams here in the NFC Championship.
Okay. LA Rams, Minnesota. And, dude, I've already told you, like, I hate my picks because, like, look at what game we're gonna have already. I'm gonna take them over New Orleans. But man, my playoff picks are boring. I'm gonna have a rematch of the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, and Adrian, as both you and I know, it just so rarely happens. But at the same time, like if you look at the rosters, I think last year's rosters actually was a pretty clear indication of who the best teams were in terms of how it all panned out. Like I don't think there were any teams that were like, oh well, they should have won more games, except for the Packers, I would say. I think all the teams that made the playoffs and where they kind of finished was pretty fair with how things turned out with their seasons.
And I think the Eagles and the Vikings, they're two teams that were up top that did get better during the offseason. I think Cousins is an improvement over Keem.
I agree with that, but I'm not ready to say that he is significantly better than some other quarterbacks that are out there. But I do agree he's better than Keenum.
Yeah. All right. We're in the championship round now, and you've got – who you got? You've got
the Birds and the Rams.
Oh, wow. Sorry. We didn't even do our AFC divisional round picks. I am like completely screwing up this document.
That's all right, buddy.
I don't know about that. All right, so what's your game here?
Well, let's see here. I got a couple different ones. So we have
You got New England and Tennessee.
Yes.
I bet you got New England over Tennessee.
I do, yes.
All right. And let's see what I got here. So I have New England and Pittsburgh. Well, that's New England all day. Because New England, all they do is –
Or actually, Adrian, I take that back. No, you're right. I'm sorry. Go on, buddy. Keep going. My fault.
Oh, good. And your other game is Jacksonville and the Chargers.
Give me the Chargers.
All right.
By the slimmest of margins. And again, we're picking this assuming health doesn't happen because we can't control that, right? But basic logic tells me San Diego and Los Angeles, wherever they have never been able to stay healthy. Why do I think they can stay healthy now? Like basic logic tells me like they've never shown it. But I really love this team. And honestly, I've always said about Phillip Rivers, if Rivers would have been on the Giants, Philip Rivers still would have won 2 Super Bowls, maybe more, and he definitely would be a Hall of Famer. Versus him being in the San Diego area, people are like, oh, maybe he's a Hall of Famer. No, he's really freaking good.
Yeah.
So I am going to give the Chargers here because I like them more than the Jags with the quarterback position.
The Chargers are a trendy team in the AFC. I hope I am not sipping too much on the Kool-Aid, but I look at their roster. I love that defense, and again, it comes down to health. I don't think the AFC is that good. I think Pittsburgh is down. Jacksonville, they are the other team. Okay, maybe they get to the championship game, but because I don't know, I like the Chargers better. Give me Philip Rivers over Blake Bortles.
I'm with you. I think there's 3 really good teams in the AFC. I think you have the Patriots, the Jaguars, and the Chargers, assuming health, right? I think there's a big gap after those first 3 teams, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And the Steelers will go like 11-5, 12-4, but it's like a fake 11-5. They're say that.
Probably going to go 4-2 in the division, right? Versus you look at the Chargers, again, that's not a gimme game against the Broncos, which I would probably say is the worst team in the West. The Raiders probably second worst, and then of course you still have Kansas City too. So like it's a much harder division, which is why I think that when all things are done, you're going to see the Steelers in that 2 to 3 seed, and you're going to see San Diego or Los Angeles now at best at the 4 seed.
Eagles and Rams. Who we got?
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's hard for me to pick against them. I mean, look, all they've done is got better. Like, I know you very, very rarely see teams repeat and get back to the Super Bowl, but it's even rarer to see a team get better in the offseason after they win a Super Bowl. So give me the Eagles.
So I'll tell you what, I've got the Eagles and the Vikings both finishing at 12-4. The Eagles play the Vikings in Philly. So this could be your tiebreaker. And if the Vikings win that game, and this is a home game for Minnesota, I think they would beat the Eagles, to be honest. Kirk Cousins is kind of an Eagles killer, and they have that defense. It would be a great game. I think the Vikings would win in Minnesota. But this game is not in Minnesota. It's in Philadelphia. And I've got the Eagles going back to the Super Bowl.
I buy what you're selling there. The only thing I just don't buy in, I put a lot of stock in general with good offensive lines. I think the offensive line is what takes more teams in the Super Bowl than people realize. And I don't see it in Minnesota. So it's hard for me to take Minnesota to go very far in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right. You've got New England and the Chargers. You going New England?
Not. I'm going to go with the Chargers here. Yeah. This is my hot take again. Because we are assuming people stay healthy. And, of course, it's not going to happen. I understand that. But if it stays healthy, man, this defense is ready to rock and roll. They're able to get pressure on Brady and be able to play coverage. They have ample enough defensive backs. They have the players to match up with Gronk. I like the Chargers in this matchup, Adrian.
They could give them a game. They could definitely give them a game. I've got New England. I don't think New England is the same New England we're accustomed to, but the AFC is so damn bad that they're still going to get to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So you're going to have a New England team that's not as good as they've been in recent years going up against a Philadelphia team that is even better than they were last year. So I've got the Eagles winning the Super Bowl over New England again.
You have a complete repeat.
I hate my picks. And it's funny because this is just how they turned out. But I don't like them. I really don't have surprises this year like I did last year. I had Jacksonville as a surprise. I had Arizona as a surprise. One I hit on, one I was disgusting on. So just nothing really this year. Besides the Chargers. The Chargers are like the surprise, but not really because everyone else is really picking up.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, here's the thing. It's really easy for everyone to, if you say, who's your Super Bowl pick, to pick 2 teams. It's really easy to do that. What makes it difficult is when you start to think about, well, where are they actually going to be seated, right? Because if we look at this, Adrian, I mean, case in point, I think both of us would probably say, I don't know, is Pittsburgh a better team than the Chargers or Kansas City or Tennessee or Houston? Maybe. I mean, I think they are, but I don't think it's by a large margin. However, because of the division, they're instantly going to be a 2 or a 3 seed, right? So, like, it completely changes the outlook when you start thinking about, well, how's this team going to be seeded? That's what makes this so difficult. So I get where you're coming from, Adrian, there. for me, obviously, I have the Eagles and I have the Chargers. I have the Eagles repeating. Again, you don't see teams get better after they win a Super Bowl, and they got better. So it's hard for me to pick against the Eagles here.
There you go. And for the people watching this, Brendan is not an Eagles fan. So if you call bias on any of it, not really bias. He's a Ravens fan. He's another Birds fan.
Absolutely.
There you go. All right, let's do MVPs. Who's winning the MVP?
Let me read to you really quick, Adrian, okay? Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, Mike Williams, Travis Benjamin, Dan Freeney, Mike Pouncey, Forrest Lamp, Melvin Gordon. Give me Phillip Rivers to win the MVP because this offense is loaded around here. I mean, when Matt Ryan won the Super Bowl or won the MVP, it was because his offense was loaded around him. Carson Wentz should have won the MVP last year if he stayed healthy because the offense is loaded around him. And quarterbacks win MVPs more than running backs or any other position. So give me Phillip Rivers. If I'm putting my set on the table, so the Chargers are going to be in the Super Bowl, then I'm going to double down and say Rivers should also be the MVP of the league if that were to happen.
Oh, it's Phillip Rivers with one L too. So for the people out there that don't know, I was thinking long and hard about him. And since you picked him, I feel like I should pick someone else. So I'm gonna go with someone off the radar, but like I can't think of one. I don't want to do someone boring.
As you think about this, if I were to do an NFC, I would take Carson Wentz. I mean, again, everything about the team got better, and if I think they're going to repeat, he's obviously going to be in that conversation. So if I were to pick the NFC, he would be my guy.
Yeah, I don't know how many games he's going to miss. That's why I'm like not picking him, but maybe he gets that. Right now I'm thinking like Aaron Rodgers, but that's boring. I was thinking Philip. I really logistically was. You know what? I'm just going to go. Fuck me.
Safe money in Vegas, right? I mean, you walk into Vegas and you see the even number on a guy like Brady. You're just like, yeah, that seems like I'm going to get that money back for sure. No argument there if Tom Brady's your MVP.
If Dallas makes the playoffs, Zeke is an option too.
Well, I would say this, Adrian. The other one in the NFC is Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
I think he's 2 in the NFC.
But I got them at 9-7, so I can't give him MVP.
That's fair. You don't see what I see as far as, again, they have an easier schedule because of the division. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Dude, again, like that easy schedule, it's so easy. Like it wouldn't shock me if you're right about them. But I just I don't know. I just see a dream team scenario, and this type of stuff has a history of not working out. All right, defensive player of the year. Who you got?
Again, I think about defensive player of the year. It's so hard for defensive backs to win it. Like it really, really is difficult for them. I'll take Calais Campbell there. I mean, he was a guy who was an MVP level hunt for the Jaguars. I know this is not a sexy pick by any means, but that defense is loaded and it makes his life a lot easier in front. So I'll take Calais Campbell from the Jaguars.
Yeah, not a sexy pick as I picked Tom Brady. Here's my guy.
I like that too. I thought really hard about Joey Bosa here too.
He immediately came to my mind. I got the Chargers ranked high. I love Joey Bosa. Multiple pass rush moves. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Joey. Give me Joey. Do we want to do Rookie of the Year too?
Let's do it.
All right. Who's your Rookie of the Year?
I'm going to give you a Tom Brady level of safety boring. It's Saquon Barkley. I mean, just the volume of touches alone that he's going to get is going to make it so freaking difficult for any other rookie to even come close. The only other guy who maybe would have gotten close would have been Darius Geis if he would have stayed healthy. But again, it's just because the volume of touches that rookie running backs get just surpass what everything else is. And the only other one I even thought about would be Sam Darnold because I can't pick another rookie quarterback because no one else I'm confident is going to be a starter right now.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley's the easy one. You got a defensive guy?
Derwin James. Derwin James went to the dream scenario with the Chargers here. He fits in with a defensive coordinator who made a guy pretty famous in Cam Chancellor. Derwin James is exactly what Cam Chancellor is. Gus Bradley's going to use him perfectly. It's a perfect scenario for Derwin James.
Okay. I'm trying to think of who went in the draft. I don't think it's going to be Roquan. Like usually linebackers are good picks for defensive player of the years because they kind of play right away. Yeah. I'm going to go with Bradley Chubb. Seems like an easy one.
Another good one. A really good one there too, Adrian. Again, you put him opposite Von Miller, his life's going to be a lot easier. I totally buy that.
Yeah. I don't want to pick him, though, but I will. That's where I'm going. Actually, Derwin James, he got picked by Chargers, right?
Sure did.
I almost put Tampa Bay because every freaking mock draft had him going to Tampa Bay.
Every mock draft had that almost as like a lock. The other one I thought about would have been Minka, but I'm not sure.
I was thinking him. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to utilize him right, though.
That's exactly what I was going to say is where does he line up consistently? And the defense around him is below average, so it's hard for me to pick a guy to win Rookie of the Year if he's going to be pinpointed. Like, when you go against the Chargers, you're not game planning against Derwin James. You're game planning against Joey Bosa, which in turn is going to allow Derwin James to probably make a lot more plays.
Coach of the Year or nah? Don't worry about it.
I'm cool with it.
All right.
I'm cool with it.
All right. What you got?
Well, I mean, the obvious one is if this happens is Anthony Lynn, right? The head coach of the Chargers. Like if this was to all kind of fall out, this would be the obvious Coach of the Year candidate here.
All right. So we got Anthony Lynn.
Now that said, he also could be fired. Like the Chargers team could absolutely go 4-12 too, because I don't think there's been like a decade of a team having more of an injury reg history than the Chargers. So I had this team in the Super Bowl, but I would be equally as not surprised if they end up in the top 5 draft picks because of injuries.
I'm curious how they vote on this, and because to me, if you go back to last year, and I didn't have Doug Peterson winning Coach of the Year or anything, but then the playoffs came around, and you're like, holy shit, Doug Peterson really is this good. What if he gets Coach of the Year, kind of like as a reward from what he did last year, but he's also going to do so well this year that maybe he just wins it.
So you're saying it's kind of like a combination award, like
yeah. Sean McVay got it last year, and now it looks like dumb as hell.
Sean McVay got it last year because he took the team from being dead last in the NFL in points to being number 1 in points.
Yeah.
That's why he got it. It wasn't necessarily the wins and losses.
And I love Sean McVay, too.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there, Adrian. I'll tell you.
I don't know if they ever do anything like that. Like, I don't know. But
I think they really try not to, but I think the fact of human error makes it hard not to also, like, appreciate that. Like, if a coach takes his team back to the Super Bowl, the first thought is like, oh, that's actually not that impressive. It's a good team. It's like, no, actually it is really impressive to do that unless you're named Bill Belichick, you know?
Yeah, and the thing that people need to realize is that the award is given like after the regular – it's for the regular season. So the people that were mad about Doug Peterson, you got to remember, like, the Eagles looked so bad that final month that he wasn't going to get any votes. And then the playoffs came around, and like all the voters, they look like idiots now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm going Doug and P.
I'll give my sleeper here, Todd Bowles. And it's not because I think the Jets are all of a sudden going to be a playoff team, but if and when the Jets go 8-8, it's such a massive improvement from where the Jets were that they have no choice but to be a Coach of the Year candidate because, I mean, how often do you see a team pick in the top 5 and all of a sudden be a potential contender for a wild card spot?
And I think the other one would be Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. I like that hire. That we'll see about the Titans. You have them going 10-6, right? You have them going pretty well.
I think that's right. Just being my 6th seed into the playoffs, just getting in.
Yeah. I like them as a sleeper. I didn't pick them as a sleeper, but I think they could make some strides. I have kind of soured on Mariota a little bit, so I'm not as high on him as I was 2 years ago. if this was 2 years ago and I was still high on Mariota, I'd probably swap Houston and Tennessee.
I will be sour on him too, Adrian, if we don't see an improvement this year. Because I think we both can agree that the offensive staff that was around him last year did him zero favors.
Absolutely.
So I kind of give him a little bit of a pass. So I give him a one more year. But I agree with you, Adrian. If we're having the same conversation, then yeah, I'm done.
All right. Those are our picks. I said 10, 15 minutes. It was not 10, 15 minutes. Sorry, man.
Sorry, guys.
All right, so do we have anything else we want to say? We've previewed the 2018 NFL season pretty damn in-depthly.
Yep. As always, I strongly encourage you to make sure you do not put any money based on me and Adrian's opinions down in Vegas because we will not be able to reimburse you.
It's very true. Very true. And especially this year because I'm not feeling good that I'm basically picking the same playoffs. We never see the same playoffs again. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I took a team that annually has the most players in the IR in the Super Bowl. So I'm not exactly the boasting of confidence here, but I mean, again, if everything stays well, there's no reason they shouldn't be able to get there.
As long as they stay healthy, that's what it is. I mean, there's so much talent there, and they close the season so hot. If they can keep that momentum going, it could be dangerous.
I know.
There it is. That's Brendan Albert. I'm Adrian Fedq. Eagles, they're going to have a second ring at the end of the year. See you guys.
Appreciate it, guys.